season's greetings, all, as they say. Happy holidays. Yeah, it's a little gloomy here. It's been gloomy. Barely getting enough juice to keep the house running from the sun. The clouds been so thick, so much rain, 3.5 inches in a day and stuff like that. It's working on it again today. So yeah, it's pretty cloudy, pretty gray. It's a good thing I don't have any plans to go anywhere with the electric car, because I am not getting enough extra juice to charge it. Right, Gracie? Huh, kitty? Yeah, so this video is pretty much about the kitty. That expression, they say never to, or better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Yeah, Gracie, she's definitely adorable. She's the most adorable little killer I've ever seen. Boy, the other day, I thought we lost her. Yeah, I've been through some of my emotional pet videos in the past, and, well, I'll admit it, Gracie has just kind of grown into our hearts here. She is such a good kitty cat. Yeah, top notch, man. One of the best. Well, let's see, how's this story go? You want to go down, Grace? Okay, go on. You all right? Yeah, good. Yeah, it was... Well, we're just real glad she's here today, because it'd be night before last. I guess Ellen got up in the night, and Gracie's got a bed on a bench at the end of our bed, and so she sleeps in the bedroom with us. And that's typical that she's, about 10:30 or 11 o'clock every night when Ellen comes to bed, she brings Gracie to bed and puts her down and says, "Night, night," and cat sleeps there pretty much all night long till around 5:13 or so to 5:30 in the morning, when she decides it's time to wake me up. And well, I'm usually up anyway, so it hasn't been a hardship by any means. But anyway, yeah, so she's got this bed, and one got up in the dark, and apparently she kicked the bed somehow, knocked it off, threw the poor cat out of her bed, knocked all the bedding off and everything. And well, I was asleep at the time. I didn't realize what had happened. And then for, oh man, at least half hour, 45 minutes after that, Gracie just couldn't get herself back to sleep again. She was disturbed, and so she's walking around the house meowing. Kept waking me up in 5-minute intervals as she's meowing at 3 to 3:30 in the morning. And I said, "Gracie, you're 2 hours off. Go back to sleep. Night, night." She wasn't listening. And I guess in retrospect, the right thing would have been, had I known what Ellen had done, that Ellen should have taken the cat and put her back to bed like she does sometimes. Got her to go back to sleep after this, because anyway, I didn't know she knocked the bed over, and I was fed up with it. And ordinarily, Gracie stays in all night. We bring her in at about 8 o'clock at night after dark, and she gets a chance to hunt a little bit after the dark. And then I let her out when it's dark again at, 5:30 or so in the morning, so she gets her time out in the dark. But mostly she stays in at night, and she sleeps with us. Well, I said, I've had it with this. I picked her up and carried her to the door. Well, she didn't know what was coming on, because ordinarily this is what I do with her every morning, but I bring her to the food bowl. Well, instead, I brought her to the door. I tossed her out. I said, "Go on, get out of here," and shut the door behind her. I felt a little bad about it. This is 2 hours off from when she usually goes out, but yeah, she's a wild cat. She was feral when she came here. She could take care of herself, I'm sure. All right, so I went back to bed, but then around 5 o'clock, I start visualizing that maybe my cat is standing outside the door, knowing, it's time to wake me up, time to eat, and all this. So I get up and I go to look for her. Well, no cat. This is odd. All right, so I decide that she's probably close at hand. And so I go outside. I got no shoes on, I'm only wearing a t-shirt. It's pitch black, it's pouring rain. I didn't bring a flashlight with me, and you know, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm not about to do my usual, you know, Kentucky hog call to try to get the cat to come back in, you know, Suey! You know, no, none of that. So, you know, usually it's the top of my lungs. Kitty, 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 here, Gracie, you know. And she'll hear me pretty much anywhere on the property and will then eventually come. But 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to do that. I'd wake Ellen up. I'd wake up all the neighbors, you know. So I'm being real quiet. I'm walking around. Kitty, kitty, here, Gracie, here, kitty, kitty. Well, finally, I'm back by the trash cans near the carport there. And I hear this clunk up on the roof. And I went, uh-oh. I've heard that noise before. What it usually means is there's an animal on the roof, sometimes Gracie, and it's raining, and this metal roofing is slicker than, you know, grease doo-doo when it gets wet. The stuff's metal, it's powder coated, painted, and the Clem's got a Teflon coating even on it, you know. So it really slides when it gets wet. I know that's how I ruptured the retinas there in my left eye. Get caught on the roof in a rainstorm while I was building the shed, and it got wet and I could not move. If I moved, I was gonna go wham right off onto the ground, which was too far below me. Too far below me. And so I clutched throughout the entire storm, hanging on for dear life, and the stress, the strain, pulling, the tension actually separated the layers in my left retina. That's when I say I have floaters. That was that, what that's about. So, you know, we found our cat on the roof before too, and she'd go up when it was dry, and then the rain had come, and pretty soon she realized, oh my goodness, we can't hang on up here. And so you got this cat trying to hang on a roof, sliding down out of control, you know. And yeah, it's messy. It scares her, definitely. Cats are used to being able to grip things. There's no cat can grip these roofs when it gets wet. Well, I heard this big boom. And I said, man, that sounds like a cat hitting the rain gutter over my head. But I had no flashlight. It was pouring. It was black. And I'm going, well, if that's my cat, I'm just going to have to wait till the sun comes up. And so I went back inside, you know. Well, and started going out, walking around, calling when it started to get light. Couldn't find the cat. Ellen got up. Told her the problem. Well, Ellen went out, and Ellen went looking for the cat. Her voice is higher, and it's more attractive to the cat than mine is. You know, sometimes when she won't come to my voice, she'll come to Ellen's because the higher pitch, I think. Anyway, so Ellen's out, and boy, oh boy, I mean, I started looking for the cat around 5 o'clock in the morning, and well, it was past noon. And I didn't really feel very hungry because I didn't know what happened to our cat. But I had started to cook lunch. And it just forced a habit. And we're both pretty upset because she always comes. And she has, at least since she moved in here, has never left the 2 acres. She's always on the 2 acres. She ordinarily will not even go too close to the road. She get to the front gate, and that's it. And so, you know, I'm not worried much about her getting run over on the road or anything like that, or wandering off, you know. No, she's a female cat anyway. She's territorial, and, you know, doesn't have the male wanderlust, and so she really pretty much stays right here. She's here all the time, usually within, you know, a yelling distance, and she'll come. Well, she didn't come. And after a while, when both of us have done this repeatedly, between 5 o'clock and noon, we pretty much decided the cat's gone. I don't know if kicking it off its bed and then throwing it outside at 3 o'clock in the morning confused her and she thought we were throwing her out, or, you know, or what the heck happened, or if she did get to the road, you know, and got hit, or that somebody picked her up, but she'll let me pick her up, she'll let Ellen pick her up, you know, my son and her friend Gary, they can manage with her, but she's particular about that, and she won't let just anybody go ahead and pick her up. So I can't imagine, you know, somebody says, oh, look, cool cat with a pink collar, and threw it in the car. I don't think so. So I don't know what happened, actually. I'm not sure what happened to the cat. But I'm upset. It's really getting to me. She's really grown on me. It will end up being probably the best cat story I've ever had in my life. I've really never quite met one I liked as much as her. Anyway, so Ellen's still eating and I'm done. I wasn't that hungry. I said, well, and I'm going to go out and walk the road out here and see, you know, call her and see if there's maybe, who knows what happens. So I go out and I start walking this way down towards the neighbors, and I'm calling the kitty, you know, and looking in the ditches to see if she got hit or something. And then I turn around and go the other way, and same thing. And then all of a sudden I hear Ellen back at the house yelling, she's home. And I went, whoa. But then as I'm halfway back, I start thinking, did she say it's the phone or she's home? I was very happy when I thought she'd found the cat. But and then I said, oh, maybe it's just a phone call for me. Anyway, I got back, found out, no, the cat came back. Cat's back. And the cat's dry, and it's been pouring. And so that pretty much means that the cat had been underneath the shed this whole time. That's where she originally moved in when she came here and had kittens under the shed there, and so she still goes over there all the time. She figures the shed belongs to her. Anyway, she apparently had been under the shed, but I mean, when I got back to the house, she's walking around meowing in pain, limping very much. She looked pretty bad, and I went to the litter box, which she doesn't usually like to use her litter box, you know, unless it's essential. So then she got out of the litter box. She didn't say hello to me or Ellen. She went into our bedroom. She disappeared into the closet so thoroughly that there was no way you'd ever find her. The only way I knew she was in the closet was as I lay there on the bed watching a video, I could hear her breathing now and then. I said, she is in the closet somewhere. But it was pretty obvious that something pretty bad had happened to our cat. Now, I had made one quick inspection. I had picked her up when she got in, and I looked her over because I'm thinking, what are the most logical things that could have happened here? The one is she got in a brawl with another cat and she got hurt. The other one is she fell off the roof. Well, I took a look at her. I've seen cats that got in cat fights before, and I couldn't see any evidence. Although neighbor Gary says she probably got in a cat fight. And I said, well, I don't see it. It's not there. There's no puncture marks, no tears, no wounds, no blood, no scratches. But she's hurting. If she was human, I'd have said, from looking at her, this cat fell off her dirt bike at 30 miles an hour in the grass. That's what she looked like she was so bruised and banged up, and one leg had gotten twisted somehow because her rear right leg wasn't right. It was gimping. Anyway, I got enough of a look at her that I said, all right, she's not going to bleed to death or die, whatever happened to her. Looks like it's mostly a lot of contusions, and so we're not going to the vet. This is not going to require a vet thing. So, plus the poor cat's already in trauma. Anyway, so she wandered off. She was in the closet from about 1 o'clock to after 5. I just left her alone. If she wants to come out, she'll come out. And if in a couple of days, if she died in there, I'll know from this. You just don't bother a cat when it's trying to hide like that. So, although it did indicate she was hurting, they don't do this. The whole reason she never came all morning when we called is she was feeling so bad that she was hiding out. They do that. Instead of crawling into a bush to die. Well, that's kind of where she was at, apparently, yesterday when she wouldn't come. But when we kept calling her, and apparently eventually she started to feel good enough that she could crawl to the house and did, she came inside. Somewhere after 5, I was cooking some dinner, and all of a sudden, here comes a cat down the hallway. Well, Gracie, you're walking. You are alive. Yeah, she says, yeah, I'm alive, and you can pet me, and, we talked a little bit, but it was clear that she was in, she was in pain. Yeah, I know. I checked with one of the neighbors who had cats as to whether he had any painkiller for cats left from the vet, but he didn't. So Ellen eventually went. Ellen rubbed her down with lavender and CBD oil, and then spent a good hour stroking her on the sofa when she settled down. Anyway, so it was clear our cat was not lost, and we still had a cat, and it was hurting, but it wasn't going to die. So we were pretty happy about all that. And, well, then she did fall asleep on the sofa and stay there last night. I told Ellen, wherever she collapses, leave her alone. Ellen usually brings her to bed, see, and I said, nah, just let her be. And well, it looked like somewhere around 3 o'clock in the morning or so, she must have woke up on the sofa, went, oh, this ain't my place. Went to the bedroom, got in her little bed there, and went to sleep for a while. Somewhere right around 5, I thought I did hear a thump. I said, oh, is that her jumping out of her bed? Wow. Okay. Well, then Ellen woke up, and I woke up, and we started talking. I said, was the cat in here? She says, yeah, I think it was over there, but we're looking, oh, no cat there. Look down, oh, there's the cat. She's there at my feet. Yeah. I go, wow, how about that? I said, no, it's 23 after 5. Cat wants me to take her out to eat. I guess she must be feeling better, and so I went ahead and did what I usually do, picked her up, and carried her down the hallway, and we talked about how'd you sleep last night. Whoa, that was a bad day yesterday, wasn't it? Man, if you got a horoscope, they call it a catoscope, you had a bad one yesterday, and so on and so forth. Well, and usually then I'll, get her towards the food bowl, and I'll go, Gracie, you hungry? You want food? And Gracie will kind of push away, going, yeah, food. So and I'll let her down. Well, that's exactly what I did this morning. But instead of going straight to the food bowl, she went straight to the patio door and staring out. And I'm going, what? You want to go out? All right. Open the patio door, and she ran out after something on the porch in the dark. She apparently saw something I didn't see out there, and well, it took a while until the sun come up, and she was still out there chasing this thing. She must have been out there pretty close to at least 2 hours chasing what was either a mouse or a small rat around the front yard. We apparently had a rodent on the porch, and she saw it. And so she was out there cat and mouse in this thing for 2 hours. I said, well, she must be feeling a lot better, that's for sure. Well, finally it either got away from her or she put it out. I don't know which happened, but she come to the door and says, okay, give me the cat food now. And so she ate some cat food, and then did what she usually will not do, and that was walked over to her favorite rug and collapsed. She'd had it. 2 hours of chasing mouse was as much as she could handle this morning, but I was so happy to see that she was still in the mind to kill something this morning. Yeah, it meant that there was hope that whatever had happened to our cat was passing. Like I said, she looks, if she was a guy, I'd have said she dumped her dirt bike at 30 miles an hour. That's the way she looks. She's sitting right here next to me on the ground. All right, Gracie, huh? You over there hanging out with our barbecue grill? You sure are, aren't you, dear? Yep. Well, she ain't nearly as ambitious and energetic as she usually is. Generally, she's like a rocket ship, and she's halfway up a tree before you can blink your eyes. She clearly likes her people, even though she felt like she wanted to die yesterday. She came home, so yeah. She apparently feels safe if she came to hide in the closet of the house. Yeah. Anyway, there. Aloha, and y'all hang loose, huh?